So I'm going to do another comic review. This time around, we're going to do a comic from Upshot called Archangel 8. This is written by Michael Morici. Hope I'm saying that name right. Artwork by C.P. Smith. Yeah, so let's get into it with this book. So I should preference that a lot of Upshot's comics haven't impressed me. Like, a lot of their comics haven't really done it for me. A lot of them are just kind of like, I didn't like that. So I didn't know what to expect from Archangel 8. But before we get into that, let's get into the story. The story is centered around a agent called Number 8, who has been tasked with hunting down this drug kingpin named Delmar. However, things get complicated when one of his former teammates turns out to be another force that he has to contend with. But there's a catch. You see, 8's real name is Raziel, and the person that he has to battle, his former teammate is Michael. They're angels. So, yeah, it's basically Call of Duty with angels. That's what we're dealing with here. I really dig this book. Upshot books are violent, they're bloody, these are not for kids. But what I like about this book is how it manages to be a it does kind of try to do that in the end of issue 1, where it's like, oh my god, everyone's an angel here. It turns out if you read the trade, or at least see the first, I'm sure if you read the first issue and that reveal was like, oh, alright, I don't know why that was a big reveal. It's a 5-issue miniseries, but it is called Volume 1, so I guess there is a Volume 2 out there somewhere. The comic itself is, like I said, a pretty brutal comic. I do like that, unlike a lot of the Upshot books, the action feels very... it's violent, but it serves a purpose. Whereas some of the other Upshot comics I've read, a lot of the story feels kind of forced, give or take a few. I really do also like of Raziel, and his whole story of being an angel that is caught in the cross, because he's been the whole thing is that the angels have been doing this for a long time. The angels have been at war against heaven, against hell, and now things have gotten so bad that it's basically hey, now angels are turning on each other because even God's losing. It's kind of inferred that God's losing control of heaven. I also like the idea of angels being like SEAL operatives. You would think, because it would stand to reason that if angels had been around for so long, fighting demons and whatnot, that they would evolve to use modern, and if they wanted to stay around mankind, they would have to evolve with their weaponry. And it kind of makes sense because angels are meant to be the perfect warriors too. So I really do like that. Michael's a pretty cool antagonist. It's a really cool idea, because usually in most stories, Michael and Gabriel, either Michael's good and Gabriel's bad. But here it's kind of the flip, where Gabriel's kind of like the Nick Fury, the guy who is the Nick Fury to Raziel, and Michael is this rabble rouser, I guess you could say, which is funny because, again, Michael's the one who sent Lucifer into the pit in the Bible. So to see him as this big villain is pretty cool. Raziel himself is a fascinating character because he's old, and he knows that he's old, and he knows he's being played, and he also knows that heaven is pretty dirty. He's well aware that heaven is dirty, but at the same time he's like, I'm just kind of going through the motions, man. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to do any of that. Please just leave me alone. So I like that. Delmar is also the idea of having his name is Delmar Deacon, and cool antagonist. There's actually a great monologue he has about why empires fall. I dug that. he's a brutal character, and he's also fun. He's also fun to read as well. But again, like I never thought in 1,000 years that I'd see a main antagonist and his name is Delmar. Because all I think of when I hear Delmar is that one Tim Blake Nelson's character from Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So yeah. So do I recommend Archangel 8? I kind of do. It's very much like the series. What was it? What was that movie? It had Paul Bettany as Michael. I can't remember, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The show, it's got great action. It's very much like, I wouldn't say Call of Duty was the wrong thing to say. I would say it's more like Splinter Cell mixed with Constantine. That's the best way to talk about it. Although at the same time, the other thing is, like, the one little complaint is that I feel like the Angel stuff doesn't really play that much of a major part in some cases, where I'm like, I feel like the Angel thing was just kind of thrown in there to make it feel different than your, basics, drug cartel and rogue assassin kind of story. I feel like that was the only case for the Angel stuff. All in all, though, I still like this book. So, one of those rare times where Upshot gets a glowing review from me. Most of Upshot books just have not impressed me. There have been a few here and there, and this will be one of them. So, yep. Other than that, Chris, know you're watching, so thank you again, brother, for this comic and the others. And yeah, other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time.